Once upon a time, not so long ago, in a far-off kingdom kissed by sunlight, nestled a magnificent castle surrounded by lush, verdant meadows, bustling villages, and flower-laden forests, where creatures small and great lived in harmony. This was the realm of King Henry and Queen Margaret, kind-hearted rulers revered by all their subjects. In this fair kingdom, the king and queen held one profound desire: to find the perfect bride for their beloved son, Prince Alexander. Prince Alexander was a dashing, intelligent young man, gracious and gallant. Yet he remained unmarried, for his parents sought a real princess, one who carried grace and authenticity, a kindred spirit for their heir. On one particular evening, the kingdom was ensnared by a formidable tempest. It was a stormy night, the sky cloaked in a blanket of obsidian, pierced intermittently by jagged streaks of blinding lightning that illuminated the ominous churning clouds overhead. The storm roared outside, unleashing its fury in torrential sheets of rain that descended from the heavens, painting the castle windows with rhythmic strokes. Each droplet was a note, their collective sound playing a symphony of nature's power and majesty. The rainfall flowed over the stone parapets and cornices, cascading onto the cobblestones below, weaving watery trails that shimmered under the pallid glow of the lanterns lining the castle walls. The heavens grumbled with a low, resonating rumble, a distant thunder that pulsed through the air, through the castle stone, into the marrow of all who sheltered within. It was on this storm-laden night, during this orchestral display of nature's crescendo, that an unexpected event stirred the castle's usual tranquility. A knocking resounded at the castle gate, its cadence barely discernible amidst the cacophony of the storm. The sound was persistent, an urgent plea for sanctuary from the raging tempest. In response, the castle guard, a steadfast soldier named Thomas, left the relative warmth of his post. His armor, a suit of steel polished to mirror-like perfection, was quickly dulled by the relentless rain, its surface now an uneven canvas of glistening droplets. His boots echoed through the arched gateway, the splattering raindrops creating a staccato rhythm that accompanied his steady stride. Battling the gusty winds that sought to impede his progress, Thomas approached the castle's mighty gate. Heaving his weathered hands onto the iron ring affixed to the gate, he pulled. The door, an imposing edifice of ancient oak reinforced by iron, creaked open. It groaned under the strain, protesting each inch it was forced to yield. The storm, as if impatient to infiltrate the castle's tranquil interior, used the moment to send a gusty messenger inside, a whirling zephyr that caused torches to flicker and curtains to dance. The sight that met Thomas's eyes was one of a drenched apparition, a young woman cloaked in the storm's fury seeking refuge. His duty called him, his heart commanded him, and thus the story of the princess and the pea began to unfold. Before him, materializing from the storm's cold embrace, stood a young woman. Her slender frame was soaked to the bone, her clothes clinging to her as if attempting to provide some semblance of warmth. Her once resplendent dress, adorned with delicate embroidery and gleaming gems, was now tarnished by the storm, its vibrancy muted, muddied by the merciless rain and the treacherous journey she had evidently undertaken. Rainwater streamed down her hair, dark and slick with wetness, clinging to her face in uneven tendrils. Droplets twinkled at the ends, catching the faint light, an unintentional adornment to her storm-ravaged visage. The rain had washed away any trace of color from her cheeks, her skin pale, almost translucent under the feeble lantern light. Yet, within her wide eyes, a pair of cerulean orbs, the storm reflected and refracted, dancing and flickering, a testament to her recent battle with the elements. Yet, despite her unfortunate state, there was an unmistakable majesty about her. She held herself with a dignity that belied her bedraggled appearance, an ethereal grace that seemed to create a protective aura around her. Her shoulders, though quivering from the cold, were held back, her chin raised high, asserting her nobility even in the most trying circumstances. When she spoke, her voice danced in the air, a melodious whisper that rivaled the most harmonious dawn chorus. Each word was articulated with precision, a careful symphony of syllables that echoed within the castle's stone walls. She introduced herself as Princess Amelia, hailing from a kingdom far off, one whose name was whispered in tales of grandeur and splendor. Her tale unfolded with captivating eloquence. She had been journeying to visit an ally kingdom when her convoy lost its way in the storm. Her entourage was safe, she assured, seeking refuge in a nearby village, but she had decided to venture to the castle, guided by the distant glow of lanterns against the storm's wrathful canvas. Her voice wove a tale of unexpected adventure, of determination and resilience, her every word resonating with authenticity. As her tale concluded, the storm's symphony seemed to hush for a moment, a silent homage to the princess who stood, undeterred and unbroken, in the face of a tempest. Taking in the spectacle of the storm-drenched princess before him, the guard Thomas was touched by an upsurge of compassion. He was a man of stern countenance, known for his disciplined demeanor, yet beneath the soldierly exterior lay a heart imbued with warmth and kindness. Upon witnessing the unfortunate state of the royal guest, he was quick to let his humanitarian instincts guide his actions. With a polite nod, he gestured for her to step inside the safety of the castle's ancient stone walls. His hands moved deftly, unbuckling the rain-soaked cloak from his own shoulders to gently drape it over hers, a modest shield against the storm's lingering chill. The castle, with its flickering torchlight and the faint aroma of burning wood, offered a welcome contrast to the tempest's wrath. Word of the unexpected arrival spread quickly through the castle's grand halls, echoing off the gilded arches and the elaborate frescoes, a ripple of curiosity and anticipation disturbing the usual calm. The whispers eventually found their way to Queen Margaret, ensconced in her royal quarters, lost in her nightly routine of stargazing. Queen Margaret, a woman of elegant age, was known throughout the kingdom for her discerning gaze and her uncanny intuition. Her eyes, hazel pools of wisdom, twinkled with curiosity at the news. As a monarch, she had always been an astute observer of people, and now her keen senses were intrigued by the prospect of this rain-soaked visitor. If the young woman was indeed a princess, she mused, she might make the perfect bride for Prince Alexander. The thought aroused a flutter of excitement within her heart. Her son, a paragon of virtue and intelligence, deserved a partner of equal merit, a woman of grace, resilience, and authenticity, qualities that seemed to resonate from this mysterious Princess Amelia. However, Queen Margaret was also aware of the art of pretense and deceit, lessons learnt from her many years on the throne. To confirm her intuition and to ensure the authenticity of the princess's claim, the queen decided to devise a unique test. With a contemplative expression, she summoned her most trusted maid, instructing her in hushed whispers about the peculiar trial that was to ensue. The idea was simple yet unorthodox, born from an old folk tale she remembered from her childhood, but the queen was confident. After all, if Princess Amelia was truly of royal blood, surely she would pass this uncommon test of sensitivity, distinguishing herself as the perfect match for her son, Prince Alexander. Queen Margaret, her mind resolute and teeming with anticipation, dispatched her royal orders through the castle. The servants were to prepare the grandest guest room for Princess Amelia's comfort. Her instructions echoed down the ornate halls, reverberating off the towering stone walls, stirring the castle into a flurry of activity. The castle servants, A dedicated team of men and women who diligently maintained the sprawling palace hustled and bustled to fulfill the queen's command. Their movements were swift, their footsteps echoing across the polished stone floors, a rhythmic dance of dedication and duty. Their normally quiet duties were now invigorated with an undercurrent of excitement at the prospect of hosting a princess from a distant land. Into the guest room they flowed, their arms laden with logs to feed the crackling fireplaces strategically placed throughout the room. Their efforts brought life to the dying embers, fanning them into robust, dancing flames. The flames cast a warm, golden hue, their reflection flickering in the polished bronze sconces and glinting off the polished silverware, bringing a sense of homeliness and warmth to the room against the cold, stormy backdrop outside. The walls of the room were adorned with the castle's most magnificent tapestries, each a masterpiece meticulously woven by skilled artisans from across the kingdom. Rich, vibrant threads depicted tales of yore and legendary creatures of the realm, each woven image more elaborate than the last. Threads of gold and silver were intricately stitched into the fabric, a testament to the tapestry's royal legacy. As the flames leaped and danced in the hearth, their reflection ignited a mesmerizing sparkle in the golden threads, casting a dreamlike ambiance. The air was soon filled with the comforting aroma of the crackling fire, its warmth slowly pushing away the damp chill brought in by the storm. Yet beneath this flurry of activity, a peculiar detail of the queen's instructions was yet to be carried out. Unbeknownst to the princess, this would be the crucial element of the queen's unique test of royal sensitivity. Dominating the center of the room, a testament to craftsmanship and luxury, stood a colossal bed. It was an exquisite artifact, its 4 sturdy posts carved from the finest mahogany that had been sourced from the ancient mystical forests of the kingdom. The wood bore a deep, rich color, polished to a gleaming finish, showcasing the intricate whorls and grains of the priceless timber. The posts soared upwards like 4 majestic towers, their ends elegantly curved to support a magnificent canopy. This canopy, a grandeur tapestry in its own right, was densely embroidered with exquisite motifs depicting stories from ages past. Mighty dragons breathed fire onto brave knights, wise old sages counseled young kings, and magical creatures danced amid enchanted forests, their tales woven into the fabric with threads of shimmering gold and silver. However, the most peculiar aspect of the bed was not its splendid craftsmanship, but its unusual height. It seemed to defy logic, its summit nearly grazing the lofty ceiling. This unique attribute was the result of Queen Margaret's specific instructions. Following her orders, the diligent servants had stacked not 1, not 2, but a staggering 20 mattresses atop one another. Each mattress was stuffed with the softest and lightest of feathers, hand-picked from the rarest of birds, a comfortable haven in its own right. With this feat accomplished, the final touch to Queen Margaret's curious test was ready to be put into action. The Queen, who had been observing the room's transformation from the doorway, stepped forward. From the depths of her pocket, she retrieved a small, seemingly insignificant object. It was a tiny green pea, plucked fresh from the royal gardens, its color vibrant, its surface glistening under the soft, flickering firelight. Holding the pea delicately between her thumb and forefinger, Queen Margaret approached the towering bed. Her royal gown rustled, its rich fabric whispering secrets against the stone floor as she moved. With a faint smile playing on her lips, she placed the pea under the bottommost mattress. A small detail, a humble pea, was now the pivotal factor in the Queen's peculiar test of royal sensitivity. As the evening unfurled its dark mantle over the castle, Princess Amelia was escorted to her prepared quarters. The princess, who had spent the intervening time warming herself by the grand fireplace and partaking in a hearty meal prepared by the castle's finest cooks, showed no sign of fatigue from her ordeal. Upon entering the room, her eyes widened at the sight of the towering bed that awaited her. It was a structure so grand and so high that it necessitated a small ladder, carved from the same rich mahogany as the bedposts, to ascend it. The unusual sight sparked a sense of intrigue and amusement in the princess, her cerulean eyes sparkling with good-natured humor. Undeterred by the strangeness of the situation, Princess Amelia moved towards the bed. Her steps were light, the train of her silken nightgown whispering against the stone floor as she approached. She reached out to touch the ladder, her fingers tracing the smooth, polished surface, feeling the intrinsic warmth of the aged wood. With a light laugh, airy and melodious, she began to ascend, each step taken with a dancer's grace. Her laughter echoed in the grand room, bouncing off the high stone walls, intertwining with the crackling whispers of the fire. As she climbed, she commented on the castle's unusual customs, her tone teasing, yet filled with genuine respect for the traditions of her host's kingdom. Once she reached the summit, she looked down upon her audience, Queen Margaret, the kind guard Thomas, and the many curious faces of the castle staff. Her gaze was soft, her smile warmer than the finest summer day, as she extended her gratitude for their efforts and hospitality. Her words of thanks, sincere and heartfelt, floated down from her lofty perch, casting a gentle warmth over those who had worked so diligently for her comfort. And so, amidst this curious circumstance and the warm glow of the castle's hearth, Princess Amelia settled down for the night, ready to embrace the dream world, unaware of the peculiar test that awaited her. As the canvas of night continued to be painted by the storm's artistic fury outside, the wind moaned its lament, and the rain composed a rhythmic ballet against the castle's steadfast stone walls. Every drop seemed to dance in harmony, weaving an intricate symphony that harmonized with the wind's mournful melody. Inside the castle's sturdy barriers, the atmosphere was a contrasting world of tranquil stillness. The age-old fortress seemed to breathe in tandem with the storm, its silence broken occasionally by the subdued creaking of its time-worn architecture. Like an ancient leviathan adjusting its colossal skeleton, the sounds echoed softly within the stone halls, narrating tales of epochs that have come and gone. As the tempestuous night conceded to the gentle arrival of dawn, the storm's orchestra gradually quieted. Golden rays of the morning sun began to pierce the dissipating cloud cover, like ethereal spears triumphantly proclaiming the new day. The land, freshly washed and rejuvenated by the storm, was bathed in the gentle morning light, casting a luminous glow upon the storm-soothed kingdom. The castle, too, awoke from its nocturnal repose, its stone facade shimmering under the morning's touch. Within the castle, the inhabitants gradually roused from their slumber, coaxed awake by the soft illumination filtering through the narrow windows and the tantalizing aroma that began to waft through the corridors. It was the unmistakable scent of freshly baked bread, a simple yet intoxicating perfume, signaling the start of a new day. In the castle kitchen, the hub of early morning activity, the hearth glowed brightly, the heart of the castle's culinary prowess. Dancing flames radiated a warm orange hue, their flickering light painting the stone walls and polished utensils with a glow that contrasted the cool, tranquil blues of the morning. The fiery glow reflected in the eyes of the diligent cooks, who, armed with spatulas and spoons, busied themselves with their morning rituals, unaware of the intriguing revelations the new day promised to unveil. As the castle awoke and busied itself with the morning's duties, attention turned to Princess Amelia. Her night in the peculiar bed had been a topic of whispered curiosity among the castle's inhabitants, from the queen to the lowest scullery maid. When she finally made her appearance, descending from the lofty bed with the grace of a mourning dove, she was greeted by an expectant audience. All eyes turned to her as Queen Margaret, her eyes gleaming with curiosity, inquired about her night. Her question hung in the air, a ripple of anticipation spreading across the room. Princess Amelia, ever the embodiment of grace and etiquette, hesitated. The silence stretched for a moment, a delicate pause as she chose her words with care. Despite her best attempts to put forth an image of gratitude and comfort, she couldn't hide a hint of fatigue that etched faint lines onto her usually vibrant face. A soft sigh escaped her lips before she admitted that her night had been less than comfortable. It was as if something hard, barely perceptible yet undeniably present, had been disturbing her slumber, preventing her from sinking into a deep sleep. Her confession echoed in the room, an admission that stood stark against the lavish comfort the castle had striven to provide. It was an unexpected revelation that sparked a sparkle in Queen Margaret's eyes. An expression of triumphant realization crossed the Queen's features, her intuition seemingly affirmed. Could it be possible? Could this delicate princess, who presented an image of strength and grace in the face of adversity, possess the sensitivity only true royalty were rumored to possess? Could she, against all odds, have felt the humble pea that had been concealed beneath not one but 20 luxurious feather mattresses? The intrigue of this proposition hung in the air, adding another layer to the rich tapestry of the unfolding tale. With Princess Amelia's confession resonating within the grand walls of the castle, Queen Margaret reveled in the success of her peculiar test. She stood tall and regal, her figure a beacon of triumph against the morning light streaming into the room. Her eyes, usually calm and discerning, now shimmered with an uncharacteristic fervor as she prepared to announce her conclusions. In a voice filled with authority, yet gentle as a summer breeze, Queen Margaret declared that Princess Amelia was indeed a real princess. Her proclamation echoed through the vast halls, each word filled with the gravity of its meaning. This was a princess so delicate, so finely attuned to her surroundings, that she could discern the discomfort caused by a tiny pea hidden beneath an improbable number of mattresses. It was a sensitivity only associated with true royalty, and Amelia had just proved it to the world. The news of the Queen's verdict spread like wildfire throughout the kingdom. It traveled from the castle's highest towers to the furthest corners of the village, carried on the wings of the morning breeze. It filled the air with a sense of jubilation, an infectious joy that turned every face into a radiant smile. Meanwhile, in the heart of the castle, Prince Alexander listened to his mother's pronouncement with growing interest. The young prince, known for his discerning nature, had been watching the entire proceedings closely. He was impressed not only by Princess Amelia's authenticity, demonstrated by her royal sensitivity, but also by the grace with which she handled the peculiar circumstances. With every moment he spent in her presence, Prince Alexander found himself increasingly captivated by Princess Amelia. Her grace, her resilience, and her genuine nature had charmed him. His heart, which had once been reserved and cautious, gradually opened up, surrendering to the pull of emotions he hadn't expected to feel. Amid the joyous news and celebration, love silently blossomed in the heart of the prince, marking the beginning of a captivating royal romance. The royal wedding that followed was an affair of unparalleled grandeur. As the news of the union spread, the castle began to transform, as if preparing itself to host the most important event of the century. It shed its usual austere stone demeanor for a more festive attire, adorned in a mesmerizing kaleidoscope of colors, Every wall, every corridor, every corner of the castle was swathed in vibrant tapestries and festoons, reflecting the kingdom's joy. The castle's grand garden, a veritable Eden, was a symphony of colors and scents. The air was filled with the intoxicating aroma of exotic flowers in full bloom, roses of the deepest red, lilies as pure as snow, violets dancing in shades of twilight, and daisies dotting the landscape with bursts of joyous yellow. Their fragrance, sweet and heady, formed an invisible cloud of pleasure that wafted through the castle, imbuing every corner with the scent of celebration. The air was also alive with sounds, the infectious sounds of mirth and merrymaking. Laughter echoed through the grand halls, a sound more beautiful than any melody. It was punctuated by the harmonious symphony of lutes and lyres, their dulcet tones intertwining with the lighter notes of flutes. The castle's great hall was filled with the rhythmic throb of drums and the resounding harmony of the kingdom's finest musicians. Together, they created a musical tapestry as grand as the occasion itself, and at the heart of it all were the people of the kingdom. They came in droves, donned in their festive best, their faces reflecting the pure joy and anticipation of the moment. They lined the streets, filled the castle's courtyards, and thronged the grand halls, their voices raised in cheer for their beloved royal couple. Prince Alexander and Princess Amelia stood side by side, their hands entwined, their eyes sparkling with love and the promise of a shared future. As they addressed their people, their words rang out clear and strong. They promised to rule with wisdom, compassion, and a deep understanding of their responsibilities. More importantly, they promised to rule with love, a love that not only encompassed their personal bond, but also extended to their people, to their kingdom, and to the very ideals they vowed to uphold. As the sun set on the day of their union, the kingdom celebrated, bathed in the warm glow of their future monarch's promise. And so, in the heart of this enchanting realm, a land kissed by golden sunlight and caressed by gentle winds, Prince Alexander and Princess Amelia embarked on their shared journey. The kingdom they ruled over was a picturesque dream, nestled between verdant meadows where wildflowers nodded under the caress of the breeze, and flower-laden forests where ancient trees whispered tales of old. Their castle, a majestic structure of stone and might, stood as a symbol of their reign, its towers reaching for the sky as if in a celebration of their love. It was a kingdom imbued with peace, prosperity, and the palpable warmth of their benevolent rule, a reflection of their harmonious bond. Under their wise and compassionate rule, the kingdom flourished, each day a testament to their commitment and love for their people. The seasons changed, from the bloom-filled springs to the snow-laden winters, and with each passing year, their bond grew deeper, a love story that was as real as the cobblestones of the castle they lived in. Their life together was a melody of shared glances, whispered words, laughter, and mutual respect. It was punctuated by grand celebrations, quiet evenings, and the everyday responsibilities of ruling a kingdom. Yet through it all, their affection for each other was constant, an unwavering beacon that guided them through all trials and tribulations. Their tale became a timeless story, its echoes reverberating through the ages. It was recounted by the wise old men in the village square, whispered by mothers to their children as a bedtime story, and celebrated by poets and minstrels in their songs. The tale of Princess Amelia and the pea, the story of a real princess whose delicacy could discern the smallest discomfort, and the queen's peculiar test, became a legend in the kingdom. Their story was a reminder of the unassuming truth that realness doesn't necessarily lie in grand gestures and apparent signs. Sometimes it rests in the subtle, in the ability to feel a tiny pea under 20 feather mattresses. It reminded the kingdom, and anyone who heard their story, of the essence of authenticity, sensitivity, and the unpretentious nature of true love. So, in their realm of sunlight and starlight, Prince Alexander and Princess Amelia lived their days, months, years, and indeed their entire lives immersed in love and happiness. And as the pages of their life turned, they continued to live, as all good tales conclude, happily ever after. As the final echoes of their story fade, we too retreat from their world, carrying with us the gentle whispers of the wind, the soft pitter-patter of the rain against castle windows, and the melodious voice of a princess lost in a storm. In our minds, the grand castle stands timeless, a testament to the tale of the princess and the pea.